Have you ever noticed how some people almost never post their photos on social media? No selfies, no celebration pictures, no personal updates. In a digital world where visibility is rewarded and sharing feels expected, this quiet absence often stands out. It's easy for others to jump to conclusions. Some assume insecurity, others assume shyness or social withdrawal. But psychology suggests this behavior is rarely random. In fact, it often reflects how a person relates to attention, identity, and emotional boundaries. The choice to stay visually silent online usually isn't about hiding. It's about prioritizing something deeper than visibility. When psychologists study online behavior, they often find that what people choose not to share can be just as revealing as what they do. Looking closely at this pattern uncovers a mindset shaped by self-awareness, emotional regulation, and a different definition of confidence. Point 1. Privacy over popularity. Psychologists say people who rarely post photos tend to have a strong privacy orientation. This means they place high value on controlling what parts of their life are visible to others. Personal moments are seen as experiences, not content. While social platforms reward attention through likes and comments, some individuals simply don't rely on that system. Research on self-regulation shows that people with strong internal validation depend less on external feedback to feel secure. They don't need public confirmation to believe their life has meaning. Society often misreads this as distance or secrecy, but in reality, it reflects emotional boundaries. Choosing not to broadcast personal moments protects mental space and reduces unnecessary exposure to judgment. This mindset isn't antisocial, it's selective. Not everything meaningful needs an audience, and understanding that difference is often linked to emotional maturity rather than avoidance. Point 2. Strong self-awareness and identity clarity. Research on self-concept clarity shows that people who share less online often have a stable sense of identity. They know who they are without needing constant reflection from others. When values and goals are clear internally, there's less urge to prove them publicly. Posting photos becomes optional, not necessary. Psychologists note that individuals with high self-concept clarity are less affected by trends and comparisons. Their self-worth doesn't fluctuate based on online reactions. Society sometimes interprets this quiet presence as low confidence or lack of ambition. But psychologically, it often signals the opposite. A grounded sense of self reduces the need for external affirmation. Happiness comes from alignment with personal values, not from visibility. When identity feels secure internally, the pressure to display it fades naturally. Point 3. Emotional security rather than attention-seeking. Posting less is frequently associated with secure self-esteem. This type of confidence doesn't require constant reinforcement. Psychologists describe emotionally secure individuals as less approval-seeking and more focused on long-term stability. They don't post selfies to confirm their worth because that worth already feels intact. From the outside, this can be misunderstood. Quiet confidence doesn't look dramatic. It doesn't compete for attention. In cultures that reward performance and visibility, emotional security often goes unnoticed. But research links secure self-esteem to lower anxiety and healthier emotional regulation. Choosing not to perform online isn't about fear of judgment. It's often about not needing validation to function. Emotional balance tends to be subtle. It exists comfortably without announcement. Point 4. Introspective thinking over online performance. People who stay quiet online are often more introspective. They think before sharing and reflect before posting. Psychology refers to this as an internal locus of evaluation. Decisions are guided by personal standards rather than audience reaction. Instead of asking how something will be received, the question becomes whether it feels meaningful. This leads to selective sharing. Posts are rare, intentional, and purposeful. Society often rewards constant output and visibility, so introspection can be misread as disengagement. But introspective individuals are usually deeply engaged with their inner world. They prefer authenticity over presentation. Life is experienced directly, not filtered for approval. This mindset reduces the pressure to curate an image and protects personal experiences from becoming performances. Point 5. Awareness of the digital illusion. Many people who avoid posting photos understand how social media distorts reality. Psychology explains this through social comparison theory. Constant exposure to curated images encourages people to compare real life with idealized versions of others. Over time, this comparison increases dissatisfaction and anxiety. By staying low-key, individuals reduce their exposure to that cycle. They recognize that online confidence is often curated, edited, and selective. Society sometimes labels this choice as disinterest or detachment, but psychologically it can be a form of self-protection. Choosing distance from comparison preserves mental clarity. Peace is prioritized over performance. This awareness reflects emotional intelligence rather than avoidance. Not posting photos online doesn't indicate something missing. It reflects a different relationship with visibility. Many grounded, self-aware people move quietly through the digital world. They experience moments instead of documenting them. Psychology shows that depth often operates below the surface. Just because something isn't displayed doesn't mean it lacks meaning. Living privately in a public environment is a valid choice. Emotional maturity doesn't always seek attention. It often values balance, boundaries, and clarity. Being selective online doesn't mean being disconnected, it means being intentional, and that intention usually comes from understanding oneself well. In a culture that equates visibility with worth, choosing silence can say more than constant sharing. Confidence doesn't always need an audience. Sometimes it's simply self-understanding and action. If exploring the psychology behind quiet traits and misunderstood behaviors resonates with you, consider subscribing. On this channel, we don't chase trends or scroll endlessly through lives. We pause, reflect, and look beneath the surface. We don't just scroll through people's lives. We decode the human mind.